It's 12 o'clock.
Attention, boys and ghouls. It's time for the witching hour.
Wow, welcome to week 4 of the Witching Hour. I'm really excited about this week's guest. It's just like so fantastic. The show's been going really great, and I'm really happy that the response from people and from the people that have been on the show so far. My first guest is a local celebrity. He is the host of the Salem fan page on Facebook and does a lot of other nifty things. We're going to have him come down. I'm sure you've taken a picture with him because I know I have. Well, at least an alter ego of mine has taken a picture with him. He is not a detective in a trench coat, but he is Joey Columba! Oh. Hey! Welcome.
Like, wait, can I see me? I don't see myself.
So how did you get started doing what you do? Explain to everybody what you do if they don't know.
I run a, I'm not sure if anyone heard of this page before, the website called Facebook. Have you heard of it?
Oh, I think
it's not starting off yet. Yeah, they made a movie about it. They're trying to, but Facebook. Oh God, I lost my train of thought.
Oh, see what I do. I'm like that.
Yeah. Well, it was just one random day I started a Facebook page of the city I was from, Salem, and from day one, literally day one, on the first day I had 1,000 people.
Wow.
And within 5 days I had City Hall calling me. So from there, all I did was like promoted for the city of Salem, promoted business, local attractions, and posted pictures. And, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be as popular as it is, but
it is.
It kicked off.
I'm actually on there as
I
well.
know.
That's how I know. Well, that's how I found out about you, sort of, because you came over on Halloween and took a picture with my alter ego.
Yes.
And we can't... you'll figure it out in October. He'll be here to visit. But right now, it's only April, so that's a long way off. So what else do you do when you're not running around town taking pictures with folks and posting and promoting businesses with us?
I run a social media consulting business.
Oh, cool.
I do it with I have a business partner, and he's also my best friend, pretty much. His name's James. It's up in Salem, New Hampshire. But I don't normally commute up there as often. I'm not sure if anyone notices this, but gas is almost $4.
Yeah, that's true.
So
yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to stay home. So I usually just work from home, and it's easy. You work from the computer. A lot of my business comes from Salem. A lot of people, but usually I let people know that are outside of Salem who I am, what I do, and they go look at the Salem page and like, you're hired.
Oh, cool. So what is it that you do with the consulting firm? What do you like? Do you start? Explain that for us.
So let's see. Say like you're a small business. I only do small and medium size. I don't do anything like Walmart. Unless I did, I'd be rich. But I gotta start small and build my way up.
Right.
But no, pretty much say like you're a business. You're looking to get on Facebook or Twitter, and you're trying to reach out to your audience. What you come to me, hire me, or consult with you, and show you how to get on Facebook, how to interact with your fans, how to get people, how to draw them into your store. Because people just a business will make a Facebook page and don't do anything with it. And they can't figure out why they have 2 people following them and their daughter or niece or nephew, whoever. So I help them, I show them what to say and what to do, because you also with social media you have to give stuff away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
unfortunately, but you know what? Hey, if you run a pizza place and you can afford to give out a free slice of pizza, it's worth it because they're gonna come into your store and they're gonna get that free slice of pizza, and along with it, they're also gonna get maybe a large cheese pizza or a Coke or something. And they're gonna come back. They're gonna say, "I love that pizza."
That's true. Yeah, and if any businesses want to give us pizza, that'd be really great. Actually, I don't eat pizza because I'm vegan, but my crew eats pizza, and they'd love it too. Anyone wants to sponsor, it'd be great.
I see you guys like jumping up and doing.
Right, Alan wants pizza. So feel free. You know where we live, SATV. That's cool. And how's that going with the business? You got what kind of businesses have you worked with in town?
In Salem?
Yeah.
Let's see. A lot of them actually. I've done a few restaurants. I can't name them because I do an agreement because I don't want anyone knowing who I consult with and stuff.
Oh, right.
So,
right.
But there's a few pizza places. There's restaurants. Mostly retailers, but outside, I've dealt with insurance companies, limo service.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, man, yeah.
And how do people get a hold of you if they want to utilize your services?
They can go to socialmediavirtue.com. That's my website for my...
That's awesome. And what's your favorite thing about Salem?
My favorite thing?
Yeah.
What is it? Not my favorite. Everything is. I love it. People are so kind. Actually, the city government is actually pretty supportive of what I do, so I love them. But is there anything I say what I like to do? I like to go hang out at the Willows.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I like the Willows, too.
Yeah,
I've done poetry shows over there a long time ago, but it's a great spot. It's a great place to hang out.
Yep.
Yeah, I love Salem, too. I'm not from Salem, but... once we moved here, I felt like I belonged, and that's really what's cool about Salem is that everybody is so cool, and businesses tend to work with each other for the most part. Businesses tend to there's alliances formed and kind of interesting things, but people are very cool, and I like that. So I really love Salem, and I'm glad that it's my home now.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh man, everyone feels welcome when they come to Salem. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. All right. Our next guest is a poet, and he's also the host and purveyor of Stone Soup Poetry, which happens every Monday night at Out of the Blue Gallery in Prospect Street in Salem. And I'm really, really excited to have him on here. And he's going to do some poetry for us. And please welcome Chad Parenteau.
Thanks, Rat. In honor of your new show, I'm going to read something that's from my last chapbook, Discarded Poems for My Apartments. It's appropriately titled Rat Poem. I saw it while marking my own space in the cellar, watched it scurry under the bed frames and cheap desks bought by prior roommates who tried taking in foreign students for money, 2 in the same room I now lived in. Too frightened of small teeth, I let the cellar pile up. It was another secret kept from new roommates, like the quick-to-freeze pipes, and the former priest whose left-behind papers carried the scent of crayons. My downstairs neighbor saw it, finally called the exterminator. By then, the cellar mimicked the appearance of a police raid. With nothing moved, I never knew the final body count. I wondered if a corpse remained as a warning to other rats, the same way Southie's dead seagulls strewn about East 8th Street stop Beacon Street debutantes from hunting for comparative lofts, an eye out for Affleck and Damon. Maybe the rat that left before that had saved enough for a flower bed outside the Prudential Center where, after nights of waiting tables, I'd look and see other rats lounge openly, stare at them until they stared back like I was another tourist. When I finally emptied the cellar, all I found in the rat's presumed corner was a roll of twine, an expired invitation to get together and reenact the myth of Theseus and the Minotaur. The rat had offered me the hero's part, thinking I'd feel better with the string and whatever I'd bring for a sword. Unfortunately, that's the only one I had memorized. I'm going to have to get to my own poems. Can you hand me off my poems? And this one's called, and this is a chapbook if you're interested. I have 2 poems from New Orleans, and I know you were talking about the South in your interview with Jade Sylvan. So this one's called Attempting the Blues on Bourbon Street. Times are so tough, the bars have resorted to hiring the sober to hold signs hawking 3-for-1 beers. Fact. A girl who you turn down $5 shots from looks past you the same as any girl not offering you $5 shots. Mardi Gras out of season, families stride by with strollers bearing shell-shocked babies. I'm in the corner jazz reliquary in the not-quite-corner table while the on-duty band blares out a cover of Journey 2 blocks down. I am in the street's last known clean, well-lighted place. Regardless of my surname, I do not know the French equivalent of nada. Another crazy person delaying a 2-drink minimum. And this last one, because I'm in Salem, I know my audience, I have to have a death reference in, so this one's at least one death reference. I think it's mandatory now.
Yeah, I think you're right.
This one is on the mythological character Charon, which everyone pronounces Sharon, but this is Charon is viewed from my day job at the VA. This is called Charon Works Through Lunch. Though we've all been working before the advent of calendars, my bosses always make it a point to observe Sundays. Pick the days off most convenient for them, even if others are left behind to deal with the worried waiting. Not even a clock to distract myself while the people line up in DNA spirals, hoping their forms are in proper order to get across, screaming when they're not, like stranded tourists, or even screaming when they are, as if they thought their state was as escapable as jury duty. They never figure out why I'm so quiet. Sometimes the guardians to both sides seem to keep at bay, as if afraid of their own wards. Once in a while I'll sneak a skull under my robe, despite policy insisting that the lost and found never be emptied. My son can use them as soldier caps for a game of One True Army, and I'm the cool dad for a while longer. Most in line would be surprised to find I have eyes. I'm always looking down, leaning back only when there's a lull. I don't see well, but with the right squint, the view looks like shore, not bone, and I'm reminded of every unseen beachfront, wadeable stream, unfractured stone, all I've long reconciled to forget. Then I only need to walk the length of my oar from end to end as it rests on the riverside. And it is done. For a while, all this has nothing to do with me.
Thanks for coming.
Oh, thank you.
It's really great. It's Poetry Month. It's the end of Poetry Month. And what more appropriate person to have for the last week of Poetry Month than you. And I love you, man. You know that what you have done for taking over Stone Soup is just the most wonderful thing in the world. And I don't know how to thank you enough.
I appreciate that, man, because Stone Soup is it's a long-running institution in Cambridge. And, I took it over almost on a kind of a dare. It was 2005, and like anyone else who's gotten involved with Stone Soup, I didn't know exactly what I was getting involved in. Right. Bill Parenteau, we all know that Jack was ill for a long time, and the circumstances, behind his illness and his death this past October don't need to be aired out here. But what does is that, a listing of the people who tried to keep it going for so long. There was Bill Perot, who was filming it and hosting it for quite some time. Felipe Victor Martinez, who's become involved with Stone Soup again. We're hopefully going to be doing more things, especially with the video archives.
Oh, cool.
And Lynn Stickler, who I was dating at the time, and we're still friends.
Right.
She's based in Beverly now.
Right.
She North Shore has a lot of Stone Soup refugees, I've noticed. She was the one who was asked by Bill, we need someone to help out with, occasional hosting and maybe with the promotions and booking. And sure enough, before my first month of actually doing it, I ended up having a website started. I ended up hosting my first reading. The first feature I hosted was Anne Carhart, who was still working on her first book. I haven't seen her in a while, so I hope she's doing well. And since then, it's just been just kind of jumping into it. My one regret is that Jack at the time was he was not thrilled about having anyone take over.
Right.
But luckily, other people like Bill and Lynn and other people such as Carol Weston, Joanna Nealon, a little bit of the life had gotten out of Stone Soup. And what I've been trying to do ever since, it's going to be 6 years now.
Wow.
6 years in September, and it's going to be the sixth anniversary coming. The sixth anniversary I've hosted. There's been well over 35 anniversaries. Actually, this May, it's the 40th anniversary. I'm going to be hosting that, but I've been doing the anniversary special since the 35th, which is a little weird because I'm the one out of all the people I bring in from like Stone Soup's past. I'm the one with the least history behind it. I didn't really go to Stone Soup until 2003.
Yeah.
And I actually hosted, and back then anyone who wanted to feature could feature. So I actually featured twice in a year, which is not very well heard of. But they said, "Hey, what the heck?" And Jack, wasn't, he tried to be attentive. He was still sick then, but I did make him chuckle with a couple of haikus. So I do have that memory.
That's cool. Yeah, Stone Soup. I started back when Jack was at TT's, and I think I was at the tail end of the golden years in that TT's realm. It was just near the end. I think he had lost shortly after, I'd say maybe a year or two after I started doing poetry there, and in general. They lost the zeitgeist, and that was interesting. And that's where I had Rat Bastard on, and that's where Stone Soup, I don't know if it's the first slam or the only slam, but we did a slam. Jack was none too pleased about doing it, but we decided the only way
you did that independent of Michael Brown and Patricia
Smith,
right?
Yeah. And Rat Bastard and I myself decided to fight it out, and the winner, the loser, would have to add an extra T to their name for a year. And I lost because I did a disparaging poem about Rat, and people felt that got really low scores. And I lost. I can't believe I lost. In a room with my peers, I saw friends. It was all friends, and I lost. I can't believe it. But Jack gave me my first feature, which everybody walked out on. And Gary Hicks told me I sucked point blank. But Jack kept pushing me and pushing me and pushing me and saying, you're good, don't listen to these people, you have a voice, and he urged me and encouraged me, and that was the cool thing about him. And Stone Soup is the best poetry reading in Massachusetts. Honestly, it is the best poetry reading. Anybody can read there, and it's always felt like a family. And I don't get to go there that often because I'm always in school. I'm in class on Monday nights.
Well, it was good to have you for the memorial that we had for Jack in last October.
And then I got the feature after that too.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I finally got the guts to invite you back.
Yeah, and I wasn't rolling around on the ground this time. But the next time, I'm going to definitely do the brown acid piece. Or something equally as vile.
Did you ever get the footage of that?
No, Bill? I want to really badly.
I actually can't remember if Bill was there to film. I think he was.
I think he was. Yeah, because I remember the camera in the corner and him going, "Oh my god!"
Well, you completely wigged out, but unfortunately, for the TV viewers, you were wigging out in front of a stoic Walter Howard. And Walter Howard, you could be firing an Uzi at both sides of his ears, and he would just be like. As indifferent and stoic as ever. Walter Howard. Yeah. Walter Howard, cool. In case you guys don't know. Stone Soup videos, I should let people know this. I'm getting back to putting up Stone Soup videos on YouTube. So my actual email address is Freak Machine Press. Or my actual YouTube name is Freak Machine Press, based on my own like self-publishing efforts, which I haven't done for a while, but I still think it's a cool name. But all the Stone Soup videos can be found there. I have all the way up to, I think, February or early March of 2010. I'm hoping to add the rest.
Wow.
It's I only get little snippets. I don't do the entire show because that would just be freakishly too much work. But I do have highlights from just about every show I've hosted, at least ever since I started getting a camera. I think I started sometime in 2008, and I've been trying to get almost every show since, and I'm going to try and backtrack.
That's cool. Now, how did you get into poetry in general?
That's an I don't think anyone's ever asked me that. That's that goes back to high school. But it was funny. There was no poetry journals in Bellingham High. There wasn't even an invitation to writing poetry class or a creative writing class. I tried to take it, but budget cuts around 90, 91 totally wiped out any ideas for that. So all there was, and barely, was a journal, was the student paper. And actually, now that I remember, the student paper was there the year before. Then the year I was supposed to take a journalism class, the class got cut, and so did the paper.
Wow.
But when the paper was, it was just like, it was looking bad until I realized that college could give me what I was looking for. And I was lucky enough to have parents to pay for a liberal arts education, which is probably, the parents willing to do that are probably an endangered species right now. So I love my folks for that. But at the school paper, there was, I remember there being a discussion between whoever the editor was at the time, who I don't remember. I think she's Dawn. I think her name was Dawn Krajik, and she's actually working for publishers in Chicago now. But there was talk about a graduation poem, like a poem for the graduating students, and one of my friends wanted to actually submit that poem, but then he totally decided not to, and I wanted him to submit it, but then with that work reflex that actually makes me host a poetry venue, it's like, okay, if he's not going to do it, I'll do it. So I actually ended up writing the poem, and the poem thankfully never got published, except I think for like a contest, like one of those vanity presses. I think I actually, I think it was briefly in a book where like the stitching was so bad, I think the book came apart. It almost as like a self-destruct mechanism. you know those old vanity presses. Nowadays it's Lulu, but has a better face to it.
Right.
And that just wanted me to write more, and I tried to access the English teachers who weren't into it. Some were, some weren't. But it was getting very hard to find an outlet, and it wasn't until I went to Framingham State College and studied under Dr. Arthur Noletti, who was an English professor and a Japanese film professor. He was the one that really kept me going, and then afterwards it was Dr. Feldman, Alan Feldman. I still can't call him Dr. Feldman. He's only a doctor of English. It's not like he's working at the Brigham Women's Hospital on weekends for his spare time. But he was an English professor, and he was the one who finally got me who taught the first poetry class I finally took. And that just kept me going, and then it was just trying to get published and just trying to get my work out there.
Wow. Yeah.
It's a compulsory thing to do. It's either you're going to do it or you're not.
Exactly. I think I started poetry when I was 30. It was like, I don't know what it is. I don't know about anybody else, but when you turn 30, something clicks in your head, and you're like, I know what I want to do now. And unfortunately, when I started, I was homeless, and Jack sort of gave me a place to read, and the shelter that I was in allowed me to do that because, as long as I didn't come back reeking of alcohol or something like that, and I was proving that that's what I was doing, I was allowed to go and do that, and that sort of spawned that whole thing. Previously, before that, I had one feature before that at a friend's party, and the cops showed up. And it seems to be
what you do.
Sort of like...
What did you do?
Well, I used to be just nasty, nasty poet. I did, just violent anti-drinking and driving poems, and I filmed with all kinds of crazy stuff, and police end up showing up in a lot of different venues. Like, I think I've mentioned this before, but I got kicked off stage by Long Distance Telephone in Kentucky. I've had riot groups. We did a Freedom Rally, and we were up there. And just as I was finished, police and riot gear showed up. You are very lucky that the collective is not together anymore, at least with me involved.
I've heard rumors
because
about the collective.
A collective show at Stone Soup. I mean, you have enough with Lee Littiff.
If you go to, did you see the YouTube slots?
No, but
if you go onto the Freak Machine Press YouTube page, you can actually see scenes from the people who I call the Fifth and Sixth Horsemen, which was Lee Littiff or Lee Latif and Chris Robbins. I've called them the Fifth and Sixth Horsemen, and they are either the most hated or the most loved poetry feature of the year. There's three with Stone Soup personalities and with extreme thought processes, shall we say, like those two. There's only three groups of people, involved. The three groups are as follows: the group that never goes to see them and can go to any Stone Soup feature except theirs.
Right.
The second group are the ones who don't go to Stone Soup at all except for that feature.
Right.
And then the third group are comprised of people who have never been to Stone Soup before, come in on the night Lee and Chris are performing, walk out, and are never heard from again. They're hard. Like, the one thing I've learned about Stone Soup, I mean, you can kind of tell just by my appearance. I kind of am like the Sam the Eagle of my own Muppet Show.
Right.
I have my eccentric side, but I'm able to go up there on the stage and just go, "They are all weirdos," and I'm able to kind of be the straight man for my own routine, and in that way, I kind of built up Lee and Chris. I know Lee, out of his own feelings, he's not entirely happy with it being introduced all the time as one of the Fifth or Sixth Horsemen. I couldn't even tell you which one's the fifth or which one's the sixth. But by the time this aired, hopefully the 2011 one went on. I can't even say without a hitch. Went on with under 50 hitches, and because I love doing National Poetry Month. I like the fact now that kind of Lee was. When I first heard of Lee and Chris featuring every year, that almost kind of got hoisted on me from past tradition.
All right.
But I try and work from that. And okay, if Jack had them every month, and there's still people who loathe the fact that the one time that the press went to Stone Soup to cover National Poetry Month, it was during Lee Latif's routine. I think that was back at the TT.
Wow.
I keep on hearing about that. So, I mean, there are people still involved with the poetry scene, hosts of other venues that just you can tell when they relate that story in their mind, they're just shaking their fists at the whole thing. But I've done my best to try and make it work. I like featuring people who are, have never had a feature before. I love premiering people. In that way, it's like the Catch a Rising Star. So, I mean, it's a thrill to be able to do that, and it's a thrill to be able to try and sell, certain people to the group and actually have the show turn out to be these unbelievable, hard to believe they were successes, because Lee is a hard sell sometimes. He's kind of like the Andy Kaufman for our time,
right?
Except with Andy, if Andy Kaufman was always on,
right, exactly.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah, Lee's the exact reason why I started doing poetry professionally, because an old friend of mine, Bob, his mutual friend with Lee, and I ran into him, and he's like, "Have you seen what Lee's doing lately?" And I go, "No." And he's like, "He's a poet." And I'm like, "What?" And Lee's always been an old friend of mine. I knew him way before poetry, where he'd come up, and the things that come out of his mouth, like the hyper intellectual Perseus, or these
the
words,
polysyllabic definitions, which
these
everyone attests are true. Are true words.
We used to hang out with this band, and he'd be like, "Hey, I think the next album should be this," and he'd launch this thing at them, and they're like, "What? I have a migraine already." And so Bob told me that he was doing poetry, and he's like, "Yeah, he was doing somersaults on stage, and it was crazy." And I was like, "Oh my God, that's it. I got to be a poet now, because if that fucking idiot can do it, then I can." I loved Lee to death. He's a great person. A documentary needs to be done.
Needs to be done on him.
I actually translated one of Lee's you can actually translate Lee's poetry. This is what's weird about his poetry. He carries dictionaries of all sorts around with him, and when he creates a piece is he finds the longest form of a word and the most interesting form of a word, and he links them together in constant, endless, like imagery after imagery after imagery. It's like if Billy Barnum, who was another imagery poem, had schizophrenia or something. I don't know.
you mean he doesn't?
Maybe he does.
For those of you watching on TV, I do just feel the disclaimer to say Lee Latif, L-I-T-I-F, and Bill Barnum, or William J. Barnum. Both these people are available on YouTube to view, because I've gotten little clips of them. And Bill is just like, walks through his own imaginary forest daily. Lee Latif, my biggest challenge is going to have to get Lee Latif published someday, because he just doesn't work like that.
Right.
He only publishes his books, and they're stapled. He sells them for $1.
Right.
His own illustrations. He'll have things like self-deprecating witches, and Aesculapius is proctologist. He'll always have two titles for the book.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what he's working on for this next one, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and he
I do look. I do look.
$1.
I look forward to it, and I dread it at the same time.
No, he's great. He's wonderful. Yeah, so going back, I translated his work, and it's called The Freezing Season, and it was about people ice skating. And so when you hear his work, you're like, I have no idea what that is. And you can actually it's the weirdest thing. He writes in English, but you have to translate his work to actually find out what he's writing, and it's beautiful, beautiful stuff. It comes from such a interesting place. He's really cool. I really love him to death. We are just about out of time for your spot. Do you have anything else? Stone Soup Poetry every Monday night.
Check out the Blogspot webpage, stonesoupoetry.blogspot.com. We have a Facebook. I have my own website, chadpoetforhire.com, where you have links to Stone Soup and whatever causes I'm trying to support at the time. I'm trying to get Jack Powers' work, the late Jack Powers' books, published in the very near future. Books that he's published in the past, trying to get them reprinted, and I'm also trying to get his later work published posthumously. So if anyone is interested in that, wants to speak with me or wants to book me, I'm always getting opportunities to travel. Just let me know, and thanks for the opportunity.
No problem. Anytime. You've always been kind to me, and you've always given me features and supported me as much as Jack has, and I'm forever in your debt for what
you've been good to me, no matter what personality you come as.
Right.
See, he talks about his other personality. That's very That's very off-putting. Not off-putting, but it's very deceptive because he has more than one. So he has to. You need to be more elaborate of that.
Right.
Is it the guy who dressed up as a zombie during the Easter feature we did at the Gulu Gulu?
Right.
Is it the mad scientist? He has enough characters to rival Johnny Carson. And you'll probably see them all before he gets kicked out of here.
Right. Thank you once
Take
again.
care.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear that. This is awesome. I love it. It's not even mine. It was at the studio. Isn't that weird? All right. So our next guest is a musical guest. She's a fantastic singer and most famous for Stormy Weather. And she's probably going to do that tonight for us. And please welcome, great round of applause for Lena Horne, everybody!
Damn it, Ryan. She's dead.
Oh, no. Again!
Another one.
This is what happens when you book a whole year in advance. That sucks. I was really looking forward to seeing her. Well, all right. Well, then we'll just go to our next guest, who's also a musical guest. And I think we found each other through Craigslist. And I'm really excited about this. Fantastic singer-songwriter. Addison Chase, please welcome.
I got an angel to my right and a lawyer to my left. And my God, it's getting hard to tell which one will suit me best. I got a gun tucked in my pocket, a picture on pretend to be a cat, but I got a crocodile's eyes now with my leg pressing the pedal and my hand gripping cold metal. I got a meeting I can't miss. I gotta dance with the devil. I gotta fly by night, fly by night. My blood is running cold and I got nowhere left to go. I gotta fly by night, fly by night. The weight upon my shoulders getting far too hard to hold. So darling, rest your head, lay back in your bed. I promise things will be better when the sun rises. Oh darling, rest your head, lay back in your bed. I swear that things will be okay when the sun rises. I gotta fly by night.
This next song's called Chaos.
Oh, what if up was left, on right was down, circle was a square, and what was sharp was round. Would you renegotiate your beliefs? Would you have any doubts? What if every word you'd ever heard was turned around and spoken in reverse? So all the signs were switched from hers to his and his to hers. And if all the red lights meant green and all the greens meant yellow, instead of getting calm, we got mad and mellow. Everything stayed brand new, never got any worse. What if any home you'd ever known got blown over? Instead of drinking to get drunk, you did it to get sober. And if businessmen slept on curbs and steps, oh, and vacants were the men signing all your checks, would you give me a clue as to what might happen next? Oh, well, we'd have chaos in the streets, people walking on their hands instead of feet. Oh, we'd have orchestras playing symphonies off beat. Oh, we'd have marching bands playing pots and pans. Oh, an elephant riding on the back of a man. What was once considered hideous is now pretty. Oh, what was once considered hideous is now pretty. We gotta turn it around. Oh, oh. We gotta turn it around. Oh, oh, oh. And now let's go back to the beginning, or should I say the end? Would your worst enemy be your closest friend? If you started all over now, what would you do if you rent? And if a poor man reigned supreme, every single day was another granted dream. Oh, suppose no one ever felt compelled to scream. And how about if all the clouds never came back, the sun was always out? Oh, you could never ever lose control of what came out of your mouth. And what if money was the least important thing, and love was more than just an expensive diamond ring? Well, everybody got a fair chance, there was never any right or wrong way to dance. So would you tell me what this might look like at first glance? Oh, well, we'd have chaos in the streets, people walking on their hands instead of feet. Oh, we'd have orchestras playing symphonies off beat. Oh, we'd have marching bands playing pots and pans. Oh, an elephant riding on the back of a man. What was once considered hideous is now pretty. Oh, we'd have chaos in the streets, people walking on their hands instead of feet. Oh, we'd have orchestras playing playing symphonies of peace. Oh, we'd have marching bands playing pots and pans. Oh, and I'll be riding on the back of a man what was once considered hideous is now pretty. Oh, what was once considered hideous is now pretty. We gotta turn it around. Oh, oh. We gotta turn it around. Oh, oh. Let's try to turn it around. Oh, 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 oh. We gotta turn it around. Oh, oh, oh.
That was awesome. So, how long have you been playing?
I've been playing the guitar for about 17 years, and I've been singing ever since I could.
Wow. Wow. You've been playing right from birth, right?
Yeah, close enough. I got my first guitar when I was 7, and before that I couldn't keep my eyes off of them, so.
Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And so Tom Waits is an influence, and who else do you like? What else?
A lot of Jim Morrison. I love Johnny Cash. Neil Young. John Denver.
Oh, cool. I like John Denver, too, yeah.
Absolutely. The Beatles,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
They got a little piece in there.
Nice, nice. That's awesome. Cash is great, too.
Oh, yeah.
He's, like, fantastic. That's awesome. Now, how what are you playing out? You playing out regularly? Or?
Yeah, I play at least once a week. I'm trying to do right now. Tonight I'm playing over at a homeless shelter in Cambridge, over in Central Square. Tomorrow night my band is playing over at the Midway Cafe in Jamaica Plain.
Cool.
We're trying to get out there. I'm trying my best to do what I want to do.
Nice. That's 90% of it is trying to get your name out there.
Exactly.
So I'm glad that you found me. It was Craigslist, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I threw up a Craigslist ad looking for musical acts, and you were one of the first couple of people that responded.
No
I
kidding.
really appreciate that and I lucked out because you're really good. That was really great. I love the second song, Chaos, because that's what this show is all about, is chaos.
Yeah.
It may not look to you guys there, but there is chaos that goes on when making this show. And now we have a crew of 3, well, actually 2, and it's awesome. And I want to thank everybody for pitching in and whatnot. So you play harp too? I noticed how long you've been playing
my
harp.
next song is going to be the harmonica. I've actually only been playing that for, I've had a harmonica for a couple of years now, but I've never really been able to put my finger on it. But I just started playing it pretty seriously about a couple weeks ago. So
Oh, that's really cool.
Song on it, yeah.
I've been playing for like 25 years. I play
no
blues
kidding.
harp, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I bet you're kind of more the Neil Young, Bob Dylan type.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
big emphasis on
A lot
that,
of blow.
definitely. No, not too much blow. I'm not really addicted to drugs. But, I like pot, but other than that.
No. As far as harmonica goes, you're blowing a lot instead of drawing.
Well, actually, Neil Young did a lot of draws, and I'm really influenced by that. So.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I'm doing. What do you use for a harp?
That's a Big River. I'm
Big River. Yeah.
working towards the Marine right now.
So what's that?
The Honer Marine.
Oh yeah, the Marine. Yeah.
Marine.
I use Marines a lot. I got a Big River for I find that the Big Rivers are nice. They're cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're tinny. Did you notice?
Oh, absolutely.
It's tinny. It's very tinny.
better
They're
than
really good
plastic
for
one.
singer-songwriter stuff. But for like if you're playing blues, not the best. Special 20s. Which are wicked fucking expensive. But the Special 20s, that's what John Popper uses, Special 20s.
Okay.
And those have this full round sound. It's just gorgeous. They completely
check 'em
different.
out.
You'll be surprised, like, as you get to play harps, the more you play them, you find out who is the right manufacturer, who's the wrong manufacturer. And I have a really good friend of mine who's in a band called 10-Foot Polecats, and we hope to have them on somewhere in the future. And he's been playing harp for a while, and he's got like this huge deck like filled with harps. And when we get together, that's all we talk about. He's also in my band Fog Wizard. He plays guitar in Fog Wizard, which
Cool.
they do the theme music, which you guys haven't heard yet, but we usually do that in post. We add that. thing. I'm in two bands. I'm in a death metal band and a stoner rock band.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like stoner rock.
Yeah,
That's good stuff.
I like stoner rock too.
Cool.
But, yeah, the stoner rock hasn't gotten off the ground yet because there's all a bunch of old men and we're all like
A lot of sludge and stuff like that.
yeah.
There's a band called Bongzilla I really like.
Oh yes,
That's good
yeah,
stuff.
Bongzilla, yeah. We had a couple of weeks ago. We had Supernut, the Black Sabbath experience.
No kidding.
Yeah, they were really awesome as far as tribute bands go. They were just blew me away.
Excellent.
They were really good. So yeah, I like all kinds of music. Like I don't, I'm a metalhead by birth. But but I like all kinds of music. I like Cat Stevens and
That's good stuff.
yeah. And you mentioned Jim Morrison. You like Jim Morrison. I tend to
Absolutely.
channel Jim. I broke 2 microphone stands doing karaoke.
Good. That's
And
a nice claim
it's
to
not because I'm
fame.
throwing them around and stuff. Then I just channel Jim and I
Yeah.
start holding onto the microphone, and before I know it, I snap it off
Before
its
you know it,
base.
you're
and I'm like,
overdosing on
yeah,
acid.
yeah, exactly.
You're dead in the bathtub.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Is there a website that people can find you?
Absolutely. You can find me at myspace.com/Addison Chase.
Oh, you still use MySpace?
I try to use MySpace. MySpace is literally impossible to use.
Yeah.
It's harder and harder every day.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
trying not
terrible.
to.
It's terrible. It's like it used to be the thing. I've used MySpace for a lot of stuff.
It's
Bands and different things. Like Fog Wizard has one. Imperial Muff does not. That's the
It's a
stoner
real
rock
piece of
band.
shit.
And it's not fun anymore.
Not at
Nobody
all.
pays attention
No.
to it. And
It's
and it's
impossible
slowly
to
becoming
navigate,
Facebook. If you notice that.
Let's
That-
de-promote MySpace right
yeah.
now. Start a
Yeah, let's
campaign
do it.
against it.
Yeah, you get, and then if you go to Facebook, there's nothing you can do with it. You can have a page, but there's not much more you can do with that. You know. What was that? No, I'm trying to remember. There's a music site that I kind of got involved with that was good, but
Seems like Reverb Nation. is the
Reverb
way to
Nation.
go.
That's what it
My
was.
band's using that right now. Dressed
Yeah.
for the occasion, by the way.
What's it?
Dressed for the occasion.
And you have a band with that?
Yes,
Yeah?
that's
Oh,
a
cool.
rock and roll band.
Oh, we'll have to have you guys come on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be fun
We'll be in
too.
touch.
To see a different aspect of
Absolutely.
your music. That's cool. Awesome. Yeah, Reverb Nation's pretty cool.
That's a great piece.
It gets better the more you pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. They want your money.
Yeah, it's like,
Doesn't everybody?
there's this awesome gig in Austin, Texas that you can be involved with, but you have to, pay money to get into the gig, and then you have to pay for their stupid RPK kits. And
Yeah,
things
that
like that.
electronic press kit.
Yeah. And
Working on
so
that.
it's never easy.
No.
But, thank you. I'm going to have to do a couple more songs
Absolutely.
and close out the show. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
The song's called Brianna.
Well, she's got pearls, diamond rings and curls, everything a girl could ever want to have. And she's got friends, money coming down both ends, a half a dozen men take her at the drop of a hat. But she's got this world that seems so small. Seems she was raised inside a shopping mall. Oh, she's stuck in a trap, a little mishap. Like she's been placed inside a perfectly drawn out map. And here she goes singing, oh, how I wanna get out. Feels like I'm stuck at the bottom of a pool and you're all watching me drown. Oh, how I wanna get out. I wanna live, I wanna die, I wanna fly, oh, I want dirt in my mouth. Oh, I want dirt in my mouth. Well, she's got savings bonds, a great big lawn to ride her horses on. She's got a tennis court, a brand new Porsche, collects Louis Vuitton. No, she's got everything that makes a princess up, and still she yawns. Oh, she ain't had a single care, no reason to pull out again. Oh, how I wanna get out. Feels like I'm stuck at the bottom of a pool in there, I'm watching me drown. Oh, how I wanna get out. I wanna live, I wanna die, I wanna fly, oh, I want dirt in my mouth. Oh, I want dirt in my mouth. And now everybody's singing, oh, Brianna, Brianna, don't shatter yourself on the floor. We're singing, oh, Brianna, Brianna, don't shatter yourself on the floor. Thank you. This song's called Hard Life Blues. He walks alone down a dusty road with his empty cup. His hands are cold and his eyes are old, shoes are giving up. He asks the world why it hasn't unfurled, it hasn't given enough. And he waits for the day that it takes him away, that it scoops him up. Oh, oh, oh. And he was barely 15 when the world got mean and threw him on his ass. And he stood at the toll where he saw a man hold up a do not pass. Now his only home is a lonely road and a bed of grass. And his next of kin is a bottle of sin and a drinking glass. And he yells, hard life, give me all that you got. Couldn't deal me a worse hand. Hard life, give me all that you've got, because I'm still a decent man. Hard life, tell me what is your goal? Are you trying to bring me down? 'Cause I'll take anything you throw and try my best to turn it around. As the sun gets dark and the forest dogs bark, he sets up his camp. He builds a sip. Shit. Builds a sip. Fuck.
Go again.
Oh my god. The last song, huh? Alright, I'm going again.
Yeah. Start with that. Say what it is.
Alright. This song is called Hard Life Blues. He walks alone down a dusty road with his empty cup. His hands are cold and his eyes are old, his shoes are giving up. He asks the world why it hasn't unfurled, it hasn't given enough. And he waits for the day that it takes him away, or that it scoops him up. Oh. And he was barely 15 when the world got mean and threw him on his ass. And he stood at the toll where he saw a man hold up a do not pass. And now his only home is a lonely road and a bed of grass. And his next of kin is a bottle of sin and a drinking glass. And he yells, hard life, give me all that you've got. You couldn't deal me your worst hand. Hard life, give me all that you've got, because I'm still a decent man. Hard life, tell me what is your goal? Are you trying to break me down? 'Cause I'll take anything that you throw, try my best to turn it around. As the sun gets dark and the forest dogs bark, he sets up his camp. He makes his fire pit and then he takes a sip of his moonshine brand. From on his feet all day, he lies back in the hay. It's gotten hard to stand. His legs have gotten weak and he needs to sleep, or he's just a mortal man. And he whispers, hard life, give me all that you've got. Couldn't deal me your worst hand. Hard life, give me all that you've got, because I'm still a decent man. Hard life, tell me what is your goal? Are you trying to break me down? 'Cause I'll take anything that you throw and try my best to turn it around. Because you can't break me down or take me down, 'cause I'll stand my ground. Don't break me down or take me down or try to turn me around. Don't break me down or take me down, 'cause I'll stand my ground. Don't break me down or take me down or try to turn me around.
Thank you.
Woo! Hi! Wow, that was really great. I want to thank all of our guests, Joey Columba, Chad Parenteau, and Addison Chase. It's the end of Poetry Month, and, I think, instead of going all that, I'm going to just do one small thing. And there's a tattoo on my arm. It comes from Jack Powers. It's a quote that he always said, so I'm going to end my show with that. And it says, if the good Lord's willing and the creeks don't rise, we'll see you by and by. And we'll see you by and by fairly soon, maybe next week. Thanks for watching the show, and see you next week.